A Shalom, call Halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. It's GMS Stop and Listen, coming with a lesson. I was looking at RT, and I saw this title right here. It says U.S. explosion of Russian diplomats is a declaration of war. George Galloway to RT, right? And George Galloway is a former British MP, right? In this article, he says a explosion of war, and I'm gonna get that word explosion or whatever. Uh, explosion, the definition, an act of depriving, uh, explosion. Let's see what we got here. Salakia. It says uh, act of depriving someone of membership in an organization. Okay, removal, disbandment, dismissal, discharge, ejection. Okay, now so this article tell you, man, these phones, man, Salakia, these phones, they got them. They just doing what they want to do. This is in order to get you to buy the next new phone. You know, that's why they always have it pop-ups coming up, everything. So, U.S. explosion of Russia diplomats, meaning the rejection, the disbandment of Russian diplomats, uh, is a declaration of war. George Galloway to RT. It says British politician, broadcaster, and writer George Galloway has slammed Donald Trump's decision to exile 60 Russian diplomats and close the Russian consulate in Seattle. Galloway regards it as a tantamount to a declaration of war, right? And the word tantamount, let's look that word up. Tantamount. Let's see here. Tantamount. Tantamount is equivalent in seriousness to virtually same as. It says equivalent or equal to, as good as, or more or less, right? As good as or more as less, the same as. So this they're saying that Trump's expelling of 60 Russian diplomats and closing the consulate in Seattle is the same as a declaration of war. It's like they say you trying to start a war, okay? And it says Galloway contrasts that the U.S. actions with those of the EU member states, those EU countries who rushed to follow the lead of Britain and the United U.S. is response to the president of former spy Sergei Skip, Skripal in simply acting as a vassal states, doing what they are told. European states have made a fairly desultory explosion of a diplomat or two or three, but the United States acts in a kind of a declaration of war. All more surprising given that, according to the deep state, liberal confluence in the United States, President Trump is Russia's man, Galloway told RT. The former British MP said that the decision to leave just 40 Russian diplomats to do their jobs in the U.S. was either a precursor to a very sharp deterioration of relations, or alternative a uh, carousel designed to make Trump's deep state opponents lie off him over not being tough on Russia. Galloway said Russia should not assume that being soft in response to Trump's will have any desirable effect. It says, if it were me who was making the decisions, I certainly wouldn't proceed on the assumption that being soft in will any way satire the ravenous beasts that are baying for Russia's blood at this point in time. So it all goes back to them expelling those Russian diplomats, man. They say it's like an act of war, right? Now, them doing it, they have no clue of what they do because it's all orchestrated by Yahweh Shem Shai. And I'm going to get the scriptures to prove that. Proverbs 24, 20 and 24. A man's goings are of the Lord Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way? The goings are his steps, man. The moves he makes. These moves are being orchestrated by Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, we know Esau, these are Edomites. Uh, Edomites basically going against Edomites, man. Isaiah, Isaiah 19 and 2. He says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And at this time, Isaiah, this is like 740s BC. The Egyptians were already gone. You know, so this Egyptians against Egyptians is speaking of Esau versus Esau, man. He's basically gonna set Esau against Esau, and that's what he's doing. He have no clue that the Lord is controlling his steps, man. Right? To bring on this World War III, which is